Good morning and welcome to Emmetts Garden. It's Monday the 29th of March, which means it's the first day after the stay-at-home order has been lifted. So we've taken advantage of the beautiful spring day to visit one of our local National Trust properties, as we said before, Emmetts Garden. The plan's to go and find a coffee, and then once we've warmed up a little bit, because whilst it's lovely and sunny, it's not as warm as we might have hoped, we're going to head out to Toys Hill for a walk round, and then back to Emmetts Garden for a picnic and a look round the gardens.
Okay, well, we have our coffees, a latte, oat latte and an Americano from a very quiet coffee shop at Emmetts, which is in Kent, quite close to Sevenoaks and not too far from Westerham. Probably about a 15-minute drive off of junction 5 of the M25. And we've just found ourselves a bench.
So we're heading out of Emmetts Garden. There's a gate at the top of this slope, and then we should quickly, hopefully, be able to pick up the signs to Toys Hill, where we're going to complete the red route. We're starting out through the woods. We've taken what we think is the right left-hand turn. We'll find out in a bit, I guess. But we're following a walk. Whether it's the walk we mean to be following, we'll find out. We've certainly seen quite a few people coming in the other direction. And we've found our red arrow, so we're definitely going the right way. So, gonna head down there and see what we find. And if you want to do the red walk round Toys Hill and don't fancy starting it from Emmetts Garden or combining it with a trip there is actually a large car park at Toys Hill, which is part way round the route, so you just start the circle from a different place. And in the corner of the car park there's a path that takes you on an orange walk, short 0.75 mile detour, so 3/4 of a mile, which we're going to do, and that'll bring us back onto the red route slightly further round.
Okay, so this is the toposcope at Toys Hill, allegedly giving you fairly accurate directions and distances to various places in the southeast of England. It's really hard to make it out, unfortunately, but let's all go down a little bit onto the actual markings. I'm pretty sure that one of those says Brighton, about 30 miles. And then at the top there, here we've got Hastings, 33. As you can see, it's quite easy to spot Hastings in the distance. Yes, it's probably seen better days, and I'm sure when they put it in, it was beautifully bright and colourfully painted. But yeah, it's an interesting idea in the fairly wooded area of Toys Hill.
Some beautiful views into the distance. Quite hazy today, but you can certainly still see quite a long way. And this is an area we often walk past when we do the walk from Emmetts Gardens to Chartwell, or in reverse.
So I think this is about as good as you're going to get on Weardale Manor. Built in the early 1900s and occupied by, well, it was Philip James Stanhope, who was Lord Weardale, and it had 145 rooms apparently on this site here, which is very hard to imagine. I imagine that the artist's impression is somewhere close to what it was like, and you can see where we've just walked up the steps, I think, which led down to a once wonderful ornamental garden. It survived for a while up into the 1920s, probably quite a popular escape from London for the well-off, but once the family head passed away, the rest of the family moved back into London, and the property was then pulled down late 1930s.
Back where we started. It took us about 2 hours in total, including a few stops on sunny benches. We're going to head back into Emmetts Garden now, find a picnic table and have some lunch. So here we've got the picnic area. There's some picnic tables and plenty of grass for setting out picnic blankets. So we've successfully found a picnic table.
With a bit of shade, which is nice, although it's still quite breezy.
Yeah, as you can see from my hair. Should have brought a hairband, I think. Just undoing the bag. And for lunch, we've got a couple of packets of sunbites, some stuffed vine leaves from Marks & Spencer's, and some Gosh spinach and pine nut bites. So these are the spinach and pine nut bites are currently 3 for £5 at Ocado, which is pretty good value. So we picked up all 3 different flavours: the spinach and pine nut ones, the Moroccan ones, and there's some sweet potato ones as well. And they're actually really nice heated with a salad, but they work well for a picnic too.
Definitely.
We did have some apples, but we ate those on the way around, and then we've got some water as well. So we're going to enjoy our food, and we'll see you afterwards.
Okay.
So we finished lunch, which was a interesting experience. As we mentioned, it's quite windy, and the wind really picked up while we were trying to eat. So lots of time trying to keep hold of stuff, you know, holding down the packet with one hand while trying to eat with the other.
Yeah, very challenging.
And the vine leaves are really nice. We've had those before, and they're in the 3 for £7 deal. So we picked up a couple of lots this time round. We're doing my parents' food shop for them at the moment, so we got them some ham as the last part of the 3 for £7.
Yeah, nice, very nice.
And they are very good. I think we must try to see if we can work out how we make them ourselves at home. We do like cooking from scratch, but sometimes, particularly when it's something like this, it's really nice just to have the convenience of just grabbing stuff and taking it with you rather than having to actually put in the time and effort. And yeah, definite advantages to pre-processed food. The Gosh bites were as good as we remembered, but what we had forgotten is that they're quite dry. So we've had 5 out of the 9. We'll take the other 4 home with us, and I think next time we have them, we'll make sure we bring some sort of sauce or something to dip them in, because I think that will really take them up to that next level.
Yeah, quite filling though, the whole thing. Surprising, because it didn't look like very much, but yeah, couldn't finish them. So
yeah, no. So yeah, we've had the vine leaves, had some of the Gosh, had the sunbites, and as we mentioned, we had the apple part around our walk. So all good. And now we're gonna have a wander around Emmetts Garden, and then home for tea and biscuits. So we're National Trust members, which means the entrance for us today was free. Normal admission to Emmetts Garden is £11 for adults or £12.10 if you use gift aid. So there's a one-way route round part of the gardens at the moment, but equally there's sort of sideways down into the rock garden here. And then we'll keep going straight for now. We'll check out the rock garden later. The rose garden will be glorious later in the year, but a little bit plain for now.
So we'll just take a small detour into the little ornamental garden. So with the roses, nicely pruned, all ready to bloom at some point over the next, I don't know, months or so. But it certainly has been very well sort of manicured and taken care of. It'll be interesting to come back later in the year, compare this footage with what we take then.
Nice view over the gate.
Yeah, it's a lovely view into the distance. It's just another part of that rock garden that we saw, which is all fenced off to prevent the local wildlife getting there and doing damage.
Definitely daffodil season at the moment. Other than that though, there's not much out in the gardens, but you can see that it's all pruned and all set to go later in the spring. And this goes some way to explain all the very vigorous pruning, so partway through a restoration plan. So we'll see in a year's time or so, I guess, what it looks like when they're finished. We were wondering why there was an electric fence, and here suddenly is the explanation. Apparently, badgers like to eat tulips. Who knew? And time for a wander through the rock garden. Again, I'd imagine the alpine flowers will be out later in the year and add a lot more colour, but there's a few hints of purples and reds at the moment, and pinks. One thing that is interesting to see is that in normal time there are deck chairs, so I'm sure on a beautiful sunny day, sitting out in that picnic area on a deck chair would be just perfect. So we're back in the car and ready to head home.
Yeah, I think we spent about 4 hours in total. We arrived just after 9:30 and it's about 1:45 now.
So ready to make that trip home. Really good morning out. Definitely want to come back later in the year and see some more of the gardens in bloom. So at the moment it was very much just daffodils out, so possibly not the best time to visit to see Emmetts at its best, but the walk itself through the woods, really good stretch of the legs, some beautiful views along the way. Plenty of mud, but we managed to avoid the vast majority of it.
Yeah, I'd say that if you're going to do it this time of year, definitely walking boots or shoes, and well sort of wrapped up against the changing temperatures, but also prepared to be able to get rid of those layers when it warms up. If you're rating the walk, it's probably something like about a 2.5 out of 5 difficulty. A few ups and downs, as I said, muddy in places.
Definitely not one for a pushchair.
No.
So that was that. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. Please subscribe to see when we've got things up in future, and feel free to hit that notification button as well.
We'll see you soon.